To me, and to the Combined Authority, to the Homelessness Task Force, homelessness is fundamentally an equalities issue. And there are both structural and systemic elements to that, and there are individual personal things. And we've got to be able to work with them both. And the reality is that in our day jobs, most of us are dealing with the presenting issues. And we're dealing with the personal, and we're dealing with the individual. And we might have great intentions about doing that really well. But sometimes our intentions don't always have the impact that we want. And then what sometimes happens is we defend the intention rather than really listening and understanding and looking at the impact. And sometimes we do that in our services. And let's be honest, all services have hard-baked defence mechanisms in them. They're called policies and procedures. And if you look at them, what are they about? They're often about protecting and defending the organisation. We get things wrong, we go in and we defend. And I suppose what I'm asking us to think, and I think what this whole thing about a psychologically informed environment, cultural, social, physical, think about our environment, structural, the whole environment, is to actually really, really think about how we ensure that that intention isn't just something we defend. And that our systems, it's woven through our systems as well. Because it's fundamentally homelessness, is an equalities issue. And we redefined it in the West Midlands it's the ultimate exclusion. Because if you
But I'm going to whiz on, because actually what I want to talk about is the client clinics. Now these were client clinics with 3 appointments in each afternoon, and it was always the expectation that the client would attend with their support worker. Some people might be worried about confidentiality. What I would say is I never ever came across any resistance, and also it really helped people develop the rapport with me. So if they trusted their support worker, they would trust me. So what did we use that time for? Well, it was, again, to gain that deeper understanding. It meant that I was also going to be sort of demonstrating high in action to the staff, so it's about upskilling those staff again. So my expectation was that if the client didn't come, the support worker still did, because we were better off using the time for a detailed case consultation. So we could do some action planning, whether that was for the staff member or if the client came. But we could really sort of drill down and get those formulations going. So if we add those figures in, that's when we had tenders more like 77%. Even then, with the 23%, I wasn't sat there doing nothing. Quite often, if I'd got, knowledge that someone wasn't going to come, I could extend an assessment with somebody else. And there was one occasion I remember very, very well, was when I met with a client and a support worker, and the next appointment was with client's dad and another support worker. So again, people used my time. So I did this on 2 days a week. I worked with 6 local authority areas. So it wasn't a lot of my time. I had a huge amount of support from Amanda and from Abby, our assistant psychologist, but I was the only one delivering those activities. So it's recognising that I'm not a specialist service, I am just one person. What I want to do though is to appeal to everyone in the audience to say, please value the people who are working in those rough sleeper organisations. They build up a phenomenal amount of knowledge about their clients. Please value that experience and please involve them in your assessments, because your assessments will be better for it. The overall impact that you think Pi has had on your team, so in the relationships within that team. Oh, I can see someone's itching.
For me, Pi is really about inclusion within our team. We really feel included. We really feel like we work as a team. I think we do. I think that reflective practice has again been invaluable. We've been able to sit down as a team and discuss how we're feeling about situations, what struggles we might be having with clients, which is often quite a few, but being able to share that with one another has been amazing. It's really, really helped the team. It's really, really built positive relationships with the clients and with each other. And so we support one another. I think way more than we would have done if we hadn't done Pi. You know, it's made our team much more able to work in a much more effective way.
I'd like to pick up on that a little bit, because I think frontline staff have known for a long time that it's the relationship with clients that can make such a difference. It can be the relationship with clients that can heal. But obviously, when you're just doing the relationship over and over and over again, you end up with dependency, or you kind of just something that is supporting that client to kind of stay in one place. And that might be really, really valuable, but what are we going to do next year? Or what are we going to do when that person changes their job? And I think Pi provides a bit of strategy to that relationship, so that it takes it in a certain direction where we can say, right, this isn't just about your relationship with me and the fact that we can have a good joke together, and then after that I can go, you know, when you said this the other day, well actually maybe that wasn't quite, you know, the way to deal with that situation, and you can use that kind of familiarity and the trust and the rapport to reflect that with clients. But I think being able to have some of those formulations that Michelle was talking about, and actually to be able to use them to really work with clients and give some kind of strategy and direction to the relationship, that for me was the most valuable thing that I got from the Pi.
Pi reflective practices, why we still have a team. Fundamentally, when I came to realise that actually really wasn't about the client, it's about us, you know, and then that makes me better for the client, and we formulated little groups of ourselves as staff, you know, and you know, built relationships, what do I write here, to be open and vulnerable and to be able to challenge one another in a kind and constructive manner.
I've spoken a little bit about the sharing of experiences and the fundamentals of it, and then the outcome of that, I think, was how it solidified our working relationships, which is fundamental for working, you know, Housing First and RSAP services, and every service that is about supporting people who are often living with multiple complex needs. What's fundamental to that is everyone being on the same page and everyone being able to lean on a very strong working relationship between us. So those are the kind of key takeaways from me. I don't mean to have hogged that, but did you want to jump in and contribute?
What he said.
I think I would echo all of that, and genuinely, because I've been in lots. I'm from kind of a psychological background, so I've been in lots of groups, and it was it was really well structured. It was the first group I've been in, I think, where I felt that no one person hogged the space. It was very equal. I think our work. I'm not surprised. I think I saw that the attendance was slightly better for managers, and I'm not surprised by that, because I think often managers don't have a peer. I don't have anyone doing the same job as me, so it can be quite isolating, and less so now, but I think at the time I was doing that, it was very isolating. And I processed things quite quickly, but there was, I think, 2 occasions where I came in having a bad day, and I had absolutely no qualms just saying so very, very strongly. And I did say, you know, this may, in other spaces it would feel inappropriate, but I did say I feel completely safe here to do this, but, you know, sometimes things just happen and you need to just have a space to do it, and it was always there. But it was, I think it was always structured so it didn't slip. Michelle was always very good at bringing us back to the theory. So, yeah, it's just, I think for what's quite a, probably, without it's quite a small offer, but with real...
Are we want professionals to be more mindful when working with an individual who is homeless or has had experience of homelessness, and just spend a little time thinking, what does that mean? What does that mean in terms of trauma? What does that mean in terms of what they might have experienced when receiving care? We want better understandings of our colleagues in housing and homelessness sectors, and really understanding their contribution and the benefits of partnership working. We're also hoping that colleagues with commissioning responsibilities, senior leaders, will see that Pi is a really worthwhile resource, and actually supporting our homeless partners directly through Pi Plus activities, reflective practice, through training, benefits ultimately a client group that we sometimes struggle to reach. And it's also recognising the applicability of this PI learning to other excluded groups. So we've really focused on rough sleepers, but actually we want to upstream this in order to work with people who may be facing homelessness. And as I say, we've worked with many other groups across different councils, education, to really help people who are struggling, who are perhaps discriminated or marginalised.